Hare Krishna. Welcome to my Bhagavad-Gita presentation. Bhagavad-Gita was spoken by Sri Krishna more than 5,000 years ago in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. A few friends of mine had asked me asked me about the Bhagavad-Gita. What is the Bhagavad-Gita all about? So, Bhagavad-Gita is also known as Gita Upanishad. It is the essence of Vedic knowledge and one of the most important Upanishad in Vedic literature. There are a few things more extra that I would like to throw here. There is no Hinduism preached anywhere in the Vedas. Lord Krishna himself spoke the Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The Vedas do not talk about converting people to any religion, but the Veda talks about the essence of self-realization, how the human beings can transcend the modes of material nature and go back home, back to Godhead. The Bhagavad Gita talks about 5 topics: Ishvara, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead; Jiva, the living entity; Prakriti, the material nature; Karma, the activities; and Kala, the time. The first one, Ishvara or Ishvara, uh, in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita as it is, Srila Prabhupada explains that the Supreme Godhead, or Krishna, or Brahman, or the Supreme Controller, or Paramatma, you may use whatever name you like, is the greatest of all. When we see wonderful things happening in the cosmic nature, we should know that behind this cosmic manifestation, there is a controller. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. We're trying to become imitation Krishna. Just like so many rascals, they declare that God, I am God. The second part is the second topic that the Bhagavad Gita speaks about is the jiva, the living entity. So, Srila Prabhupada explains again, now the jivas, or the living entities, have been accepted by the Lord, as we will note in the later chapters, as his parts and parcels. A particle of gold is also gold. A drop of water from the ocean is also salty. And similarly, we, the living entities, being part and parcel of the Supreme Controller Ishvara, or Bhagavan, Lord Sri Krishna, have all the qualities of the Supreme Lord in minute quantities, because we are minute Ishvaras, or Ishvaras, subordinate Ishvaras. We are trying to control nature, as presently we are trying to control space or planets, and this tendency to control is there because it is in Krishna. But although we have a tendency to lord it over material nature, we should know that we are not the supreme controller. The third topic of Bhagavad Gita is called Prakriti, or material nature. The manifestation of the world is not accepted as false. It is accepted as real, but temporary. It is just like a cloud which moves across the sky, or the coming of the rainy season, which nourishes grains. As soon as the rainy season is over, and as soon as the clouds goes away, all the crops which were nourished by the rain dry up. Similarly, this material manifestation takes place at a certain interval, stays for a while, and then disappears. Such are the workings of Prakriti. But this cycle is working eternally. Therefore, Prakriti is eternal. It is not false. The Lord, nothing could be manifested without being controlled. It is childish not to consider the controller refers to this as my Prakriti. This material nature is the separated energy of the Supreme Lord. The fourth topic of the Bhagavad Gita, it is known as Kala, the time factor. Kalena Mahata, by the great power. Kala means time. Time has got his influence, very great influence. Time is business, is whatever you make. Time will try to kill you, that's all. You make a nice house, very nice house, but as soon as it becomes older, it is being killed. You have very good body, nice body, but the influence of time is trying to kill you. That is the influence of time. So in the Bhagavad-Gita, you also find that, and Krishna said in that universal form that I am Kala, I have come to kill. That's it. This was the answer. So Kala's business is to kill. So here also it is said, Sa Kalena Iha Kalena Mahata. Mahata is also Karana and Kalena, but the influence of time that is now lost because it is a struggle, or a struggle for existence means we are trying to exist, but Kala is fighting to kill. That is going on, and so Kala's business, time's business, is to kill. But that system is now lost, is now killed by the influence of time. Our fifth topic of the Bhagavad Gita is the karma, or the activities. The effects of karma may be very old indeed. We are suffering or enjoying the results of our activities from time immemorial, but we can change the results of our karma, or our activity, and this change depends on the perfection of our knowledge. We are engaged in various activities. Undoubtedly, we do not know what sort of activity we should adopt to gain relief from the actions and reaction of all these activities, but this is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita. So, as I explained, these are the five topics of Bhagavad Gita. Furthermore, I would like to add that due to this, uh, uh, due to the time factor, due to the mode of nature, there are also uh, some type of consciousness. When the living entity is in material consciousness, he has to take on spiritual nature. He receives as a material or spiritual body. In material nature, we may take a body from any of the 8,400,000 species of life, but in spiritual nature, he has only one body. In material nature, he is manifested sometimes as a man, demigod, animal, beast, bird, etc. According to his karma, to attain material nature, heavenly planets, and enjoy their facilities, he sometimes performs sacrifices, yajna. But when his merit is exhausted, he returns to earth again in the form of a man. This process is called karma. There are two prakritis. Both the living entities and material nature are explained as prakriti, the energy of the Supreme Lord. But one of the two, the jivas, is conscious. The other, prakriti, is not conscious. That is the difference. Therefore, the jiva's prakriti is called superior because the jivas has consciousness, which is similar to the Lord's. There are eight types of material nature. These eight types of material nature: earth, water, fire, air, sky, mind, intelligence, and ego. These are material nature. Bina prakritir astada. They are separated energies. Aparayam itas tu vidime prakritim perim. Beyond this are inferiors apara, and beyond this the apara prakriti. There is another superior prakriti. What is that? Jivas. Bhutang mahabaho jayedam daryate jagat. That is the living entity. Uh, so, what is the relationship between God and the living entity? God and the living entity, are they one or different? The distinction between the Jivas and the Ishvara will be explained in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The Lord is Kshetragya, conscious, and is the living being, but the living being is conscious of this particular body, where the Lord is conscious of all bodies, because we are alive in the heart of every living being. Oh, because He lives in the heart of every living being. He is conscious of the physical movement of that particular jivas. We should not forget this. It is also explained that the Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is living in everyone's heart at Ishvara as the controller, and that he is giving direction for the living entity to act as he desires. The Supreme Conscious Ishvara is similar to the living entity in this way. Both the consciousness of the Lord and that of the living entity are transcendental. It is not that consciousness is generated by the association of when he descend matter. When he descends into the material universe, his consciousness is not materially affected. Our consciousness at the present moment, however, is materially contaminated. Krishna is the original Father. Krishna says, Aham Bija Pradata Pita. I am the original Father of all living entities. So if God is Father of all living entities, and we all living entities, and we are all living entities, we are individual person. How God can be impersonal? God is a person. At this time, we are controlled by the three modes of material nature. Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with material nature, O mighty arm Arjun, he becomes conditioned by these modes. So this is the best. This is the best of all knowledge. In Bhagavad-Gita 14.1, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, again, I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection. By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own, thus established. One is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. And last, I just want to add this for us to be able to advance in Krishna consciousness. In Srimad Bhagavatam 11.28-1 and -2, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, one should neither praise nor criticize the conditioned nature and activities of another person. Rather, one should see this world as simply the combination of material nature and the enjoying souls, all based on one absolute truth. Whoever indulges in praising or criticizing the qualities and behaviors of others will quickly become deviated from his own best interest by his entanglement in illusory dualities. With this, I conclude my small introduction to the Bhagavad Gita.